Hello guys and welcome back to this YouTube channel, where today we'll be discussing the events that unfolded in the 2018 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Now let's talk about the race as a whole firstly, and to be honest it was a much better race than we hyped up for. There was action, overtakes and some very good close racing amongst the top teams. And it had a massive unpredictability, so I think we could be happy with the final race of 2018. But let's get into the race result, and Lewis Hamilton cruised to another win around the Yas Marina circuit, heading off Sebastian Vettel in P2. Max Verstappen had a good recovery drive to return to P3 and back on the podium for the 5th consecutive race in a row. Daniel Ricciardo ended off his Red Bull spell with 4th place, with Valtteri Bottas in 5th. Carlos Sainz stormed to a fantastic P6, ending up best of the rest with Charles Leclerc P7. Sergio Perez ended off 2018 with P8, with Grosjean P9 and Magnussen in P10. Fernando Alonso just about missed out on points in his final race, and there was 5 retirements during the race, so it was a pretty hectic Grand Prix and in some stages. But firstly, let's talk about that horror crash that occurred on lap 1. Nico Hülkenberg and Romain Grosjean collided, entering the second chicane of the lap. Now, Hülkenberg barged his way past Grosjean, but Grosjean was still in the fight, and Hülkenberg cut across Grosjean seemingly on the apex. The stewards deemed this incident to be a racing incident, as Hülkenberg had a massive crash, rolling over a couple of times. But I will say here that the halo definitely didn't prevent anything. The crash would not have done any damage to Hülkenberg's head from what I could have seen, so yes, it was there, it's good for it to be there, but it definitely didn't help. But still, it's good that the halo's in Formula 1 in hindsight. But analysing the incident, and I do agree with the stewards, with the fact that it was a racing incident. Grosjean could have backed off and maybe cut the chicane, and Hülkenberg could have given Grosjean a bit more room on the apex of that second part of the chicane, and obviously he didn't use his mirrors that well to avoid him. And yeah, a racing incident to me sounds just about fair. I don't think there's any need to penalise Grosjean nor Hülkenberg. Ferrari ended a very disappointing 2018 with 18 points, with Sebastian Vettel coming home P2 and Kimi Raikkonen retiring due to an electrical/engine issue. And it was a shame for Raikkonen, who has ended his Ferrari career, and he still is to date their last world champion, coming 11 years ago. And yes, it was sad to see Kimi retiring, but at least for him, he secured 3rd in the world championship, and the first time he has appeared in the top 3 since returning to Ferrari, and the first time since his Lotus days in 2012. And to be honest, Sebastian Vettel did actually have a really good race. Although he was kept honest in the first stint by the 2 Red Bulls, in the second stint he definitely had the upper hand on Valtteri Bottas and claimed 2nd place, another podium in 2018. But it does not deny the fact that Ferrari did not deliver that well. If you look at their just performance in terms of chassis throughout the year, they did not deliver, and they will have to come back stronger next year. Red Bull claimed a solid P3 and P4 to end off 2018, with Max Verstappen leading the 2 charging bulls, and Verstappen got a really bad getaway, really struggling once putting the car into 2nd gear. Daniel Ricciardo was the faster of the drivers throughout the 2 Red Bulls throughout the weekend, but in the end I think the Red Bull strategy did cost Ricciardo the podium. The Aussie was ahead of Verstappen, primarily due to Verstappen's poor start, but when it came to the pit stop phase, Red Bull left out Ricciardo too long, and this was a bid to really just get mixed within Ferrari and Mercedes. But with the lack of overtaking opportunities provided at Abu Dhabi, it just never worked for Daniel Ricciardo, and he ends off his Red Bull career with P4. But 2018 has been a very solid year for Red Bull, proving they definitely have the best chassis on the grid. Fernando Alonso ended his Formula 1 career with P11 and getting amongst Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton after the race with some donuts. And Alonso just did the best he could with that car. In that second stint he was very quick, although he did cut the chicane a couple of times. But a very promising day for Fernando, but all that hype means nothing now as his Formula 1 career comes to an end, and all I want to say is thank you, Fernando. Gracias. Muchas gracias. And although Nico Hülkenberg did heavily crash out of this Grand Prix, he did claim best of the rest in the World Championship. And it has been a very solid year for the German despite that massive accident on lap 1. And it's great to see that he was unscathed. But now we're going to move on to my driver of the day. Now, Fernando Alonso was voted as the official driver of the day on the F1 page, but I definitely disagree with that. It was great to see Alonso getting driver of the day, but that's just typical F1 fans bringing out their banter. But for me, Carlos Sainz deserved this award in his Renault. After starting P11, Sainz took full advantage with the cars ahead of him, getting stuck up with the midfield battle after pitting early. Sainz extended his first stint and produced very good pace on an older set of tyres. And it was a very good drive for Sainz, who ended up P6, so probably his best drive of the season in my opinion. But guys, that is the end of F1 2018, and what a year it has been for Formula 1, being historic and very unpredictable, with 5 different race winners. Guys, please like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Until next time guys, see you later.